support a bill like this.
Ms. Gonzalez.
Thank you. Clearly, I am fully in opposition of HB 229. This bill is rooted in ignorance and is trying to erase trans people. Saturday was a dark day in our chamber's history and will be remembered by future generations of Texans long after we're gone. I hope that when Texans hear about HB 229, they will read the debate that went back and forth and will understand the political context behind this legislative travesty. They will see that this bill, they will see it for what it is: an attack on human dignity, an attack on human rights, and an attack on transgender Texans. It's been made very clear this session that transphobia is the new dominating ideology of the legislature, with this bill being one of hundreds of anti-LGBTQ bills filed this session alone, many of them targeting trans Texans specifically. Not to mention the massive amounts of money spent on anti-trans campaign advertisements throughout the last campaign cycle. In a state of over 30 million residents, we have been burning hours of legislative time, tax dollars, in front of a witch hunt on transgender Texans. Eradicating trans people from data using bygone definitions of gender to police the private lives of Texans. But trans people exist, period. It's important to abuse the power of this legislature to target Texans who dare to defy your counterfeit standards of gender. To my Republican colleagues, including the bill author, why are you so concerned and obsessed with scrutinizing and investigating the bodies of Texas citizens? Amongst the legislature, it is clear there is no way this body is qualified to define gender into state law. By prohibiting state agencies from collecting data that accurately reflects people's lives and lived experiences, HB 229 destroys any mechanism used to understand our state's vulnerable transgender population and how to best meet the needs of all Texans. Texas has led the nation in the number of transgender murders for almost a decade, and yet we choose the distraction of eradication rather than protection of our fellow Texans who are human just like you and me. This bill cuts off real issues Texans are facing, wasting precious legislative power that could be used to pass tangible and effective change, instead stripping the state of important information used to address disparities in healthcare, economics, housing, education, and targeted violence, all things that disproportionately impact the trans community. Trans, non-binary, gender-expansive, and intersex people will not cease to exist because of a Texas law. These are our neighbors, our friends, our coworkers. All they want is the same things as everyone else: opportunities to work hard, earn a living, without the fear of being themselves. Because of who they love, they want to raise their families and fully participate in our communities without the fear of being isolated or targeted. For those who claim to want small government, do you not see the irony in policing the private lives of citizens, the lives of your constituents? Do you not see the irony in having the state government dictate gender? You will never legislate Texans to fit inside the small box of your perceived standards of conformity. I'll leave you with this. We are powerful because we have survived. And I'll say, it broke my heart on Saturday night when I walked back to my office to see so many of my friends, chosen family, in tears because of this bill, because of how these are adults who contribute to our communities, who have jobs, who have lives, they have families. You're affecting their everyday life, to open bank accounts, to buy a house, to rent a home. And you don't understand the impact this has on adults who aren't doing anything to hurt anybody but just living their lives. And to my trans Texans, remember that even during these times of turmoil and hostility, nobody in this body and no law will ever have the power to invalidate your existence. There are people here fighting for you, fighting for your right not only to survive, but to strive in our state. And so please never lose hope, because this is your home too. And we'll always keep fighting, because trans Texans will not be erased, not on my watch. Thank you.
Talrico, for what purpose?
Mr. Speaker, does the gentlelady yield for a couple questions?
Gentlelady for questions.
I yield.
She yields for questions.
Thank you, Representative Gonzalez. Thank you for your powerful words. Is it correct that we had a colleague of ours on that front mic using this book to justify this bill?
Yes, sir.
I believe our colleague quoted Genesis 1:27 about God creating human beings, male and female. Is that correct?
Yes.
And that scripture has been used to justify bills like this and other pieces of legislation that discriminate against trans people. Is that correct?
Exactly, yes.
Representative Gonzalez, Genesis is one of my favorite books in the Bible. It's beautifully written, describes how we're all made in the image of God, and describes the beautiful creation all around us. Are you aware that after this verse, it also describes how God created other opposites, not just male and female, but also day and night, land and sea, flying birds and swimming fish? Are you aware of that?
Yes. It's actually one of my favorites as well.
So, but in between day and night, we have dusk and dawn. Is that correct?
Yes, correct.
Things that defy those two polar opposites.
Yes.
Between land and sea, we have coral reefs, estuaries, beaches, things that blur the lines between land and sea. Is that correct?
Correct.
Between flying birds and swimming fish, we have penguins and dolphins and even the platypus. Those things defy the boundaries between swimming birds or swimming fish and flying birds. Is that correct?
Correct.
And so I think it should be acknowledged that the poetry in Genesis should never be used to bully or discriminate or pick on people who have less power, whether it's in this state, in this country, or anywhere around the world. Would you say that's a fair statement?
Yes.
And would you also say that this book has been used to hurt others at plenty of points throughout our history?
Yes, and I find that disgusting.
And I don't know if you agree with me, Representative Gonzalez, but using this book, using these scriptures that call us to love one another, to care for the oppressed, to watch out for the least of these, using these scriptures to hurt others is doing great violence to these scriptures.
Correct, yeah.
And would you agree that if we're truly trying to use the teachings in this book, that we should be loving our neighbors, especially our neighbors who are different from us or who have less power than we do?
Yes.
Thank you, Representative Gonzalez.
Thank you.